How's it going? My name is Taylor Johnston. I'm one of the lead counselors at the University Career Center. I'm the liaison to the College of Visual and Performing Arts. And our main focus at the Career Center is to promote student success with career exploration and career development. And we do this through a number of different ways. We have mostly one-on-one appointments where students come in to develop more competencies in terms of resumes, cover letters, whatever the student's goal is. We try to help them achieve their goals with the resources that we have. And I understand with, like CVPA students, it is a little bit different than most students. They have aspirations for maybe, professional dancing, professional acting, writing, directing, all those kinds of avenues. So with those students, I really try to take more of a proactive approach to help the student understand the dynamics of networking and how important networking is. Not just go to our events, most definitely do that, but also reach out to other avenues. The CVPA faculty, for example, are very amazing people with amazing backgrounds, and they probably have more connections than we do as far as like networking that will help them achieve their long-term career goals. But we just try to give the students overall just develop their competencies in as many areas as possible to help them achieve their goals. And whether that be documents, if they're in, even if they're not even trying to go to the professional routes. I mean, a lot of CVPA students decide they want to do something else, and we have the resources for that too. We have things like Career Shift. We have things like Vault. That's really awesome. That makes the students' lives a lot easier when it comes to searching and knowing more things. And a lot of students are interested in staying in higher ed and becoming faculty. We definitely have the resources for that too. We look at hundreds of CVs every semester, and we help students with their teaching philosophies, their research statements, all that good stuff. So yeah, in a nutshell, I mean, that's pretty much what we do.
Cool. So what are some tips that you primarily give to students that come to meet with you?
So I mainly, my main focus of expertise is the job interview process. That's kind of like what my specialty is. So I do a lot of beefing up with interview skills with a lot of the students, because that's usually the one part of the application process where students really tend to struggle the most, because they just get nervous and they just kind of forget how to sell themselves. But with CVPA students, not just them, but I mean pretty much with all the majors. The main point that I try to get across is, to get the most out of your career, to get the most out of college, you always want to be putting your best foot forward. You always want to be selling yourself. And it's not just in job interviews. It's not just when talking to recruiters, but, when you're on campus, off campus, when you're in the classroom, when you're outside of the classroom, there's always, with every single person you meet, there's always an opportunity to sell yourself on something, because, I'm a big proponent of it. You never know who you're going to meet. And, there's been a lot of crazy stories with like actors who have gotten their starts just being at the right place at the right time, like planned happenstance, but they were in that right moment, and they just knew how to put their best foot forward. So it's a skill. And, the more that you can be aware of that, and the more that you can practice that, that's when you're going to get the most, that's when you're going to maximize your career development, and you're going to really achieve those goals a lot easier, because it's true. I mean, you never really know who you're going to meet. And when you meet that right person, you want to be in a position where you can put your best foot forward pretty much like no matter what.
Yeah, no, totally agree. And I think that the interview skills are a big thing. I mean, I used to do some hiring in my old job, and yeah, I mean, you could really tell people who had really worked on an interview process and what to do, and those who hadn't. So that's a good skill.
Yes. Yeah, that's a really good point. And, especially for the interviews where they kind of grade you on like a 5-point scale, for example, I work with students to be able to construct an effective response. And even if they ask you something that's like way out of left field and you're not, you weren't prepared for that, if you know the structure of a good answer, you'll still be able to answer it effectively. And even if it's not the answer, even if it's not quite the answer that they were looking for, you'll still get the full 5 points. And so I just try to work with students on a question by question basis and just get their confidence to go up a little bit every time. And, fortunately for most students, it only takes one session. I mean, one hour session, I ask them 35, 40 questions. They might be really nervous and timid when the session first starts, but then by the end of it, after all my feedback, the light bulb usually clicks off and they're like, okay, I think I got this. And then I've got tons of success stories, fortunately, where the student went out and just, hit a home run and got the job.